Sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Though this is a topic that is absolutely terrifying, I'm hoping to make it not that way. If you are a grown adult watching this is exactly what most teens feel when they envision the word identity. Sorry, I won't do it again. But why is this such a scary thing? Why are we so terrified of the idea of the unknown future? If someone were to ask you, do you know who your true self is? Are you confused on who you are? Or are you ready to get started with the rest of your life with a smile on your face? If these questions terrify you, you've come to the right place. So why do we feel the need to figure out who we are so quickly? And why do we think we are behind if we don't know at the ages 11 through 19? Well, to get scientific, I want to elaborate on a study done by the infamous German-American psychologist Erik Erikson. This guy really came to fame when he developed the idea of psychosocial development. His idea was that life was separated into 8 stages that you have to go through correctly in order to develop correctly, according to science, I guess. From the very start of your upbringing to preschool age, you had to have a certain relationship with the world in order to live your life to its full potential. And here's the kicker, those first 3 stages are basically in the hands of your parents. So I guess if you're still confused at 20 years old, you have someone to blame. I'm kidding. The one stage I want to address is the 5th stage, called identity versus confusion. It sounds pretty self-explanatory, but according to Erik Erikson, during your teen years, this is where you are either left feeling confused, or you easily have things figured out and get to move right on to the next stage as a young adult where you can find love or loneliness. According to him, with positive reinforcements or effort, good choices, and perseverance of your parents, you could easily find your identity just like that. And what do you know? Your parents take responsibility again. Just kidding. Again. But what I find interesting about this study is that the majority of his theory was created around the year 1940. What were the 1940s like, you may be thinking? Clearly not how it is today. The 1940s was actually quite a refreshing time for teens to figure out who they are. During World War II, teens had to grow up pretty quickly and take up a lot of responsibility that their parents couldn't. So after the war was over, finding their identity was actually an exciting thing, and there wasn't really an insane amount of pressure for them. Also, the average age to get married in the 1940s was around 20 to 23 years old. In today's world, some people are lucky to find their major at 20. Now, if you're a psychologist watching this, you may be thinking, hey, this is kind of an old theory, and these are really just guidelines for how someone should ideally develop throughout their lives, but it isn't entirely that strict on how we think people should develop today. Well, you may be right, but why do so many teens feel like they are under this immense pressure that they should have it all figured out? Well, I think it has something to do with society. Over time, having the same mindset that Erik Erikson's theory has. Life is just a bunch of guidelines. This versus this. If you live this way, you get this. You should get married at this age, and then when that happens, it's best to have kids at this time. You go to college at this age, and you have to figure out what you want to do at this time. The only thing that all these things have in common is that they have nothing to do with your identity right now. It's entirely too much pressure to have teens thinking about things so far ahead when they don't even know who they are. Now, I'm not here to blame colleges, parents, or teachers or anything like that, because these things are really scary, especially for new kids growing into adulthood. But the whole idea behind this project is that you are exactly who you need to be right now. And of course, it's not entirely ethical to just use my own experiences with identity and some research on the internet. I wanted to gain some insight from my peers. I wanted to hear what they had to say about their opinions on identity.
I don't have a long answer, but I think it's just who I am or who you are. Just that.
I don't even know, honestly.
I think it means for me that I need to have myself figured out and I need to know everything and figure every little thing out. So it kind of makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
The way somebody looks.
How you feel about yourself. How you conduct yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And probably just, I feel like it's more internal. It's not external things.
Mm-hmm.
Describing who someone is.
It's hard to explain. Just who you are, what you like stand by, I guess. I don't really know.
I guess who someone is, their character, maybe morals, I don't know.
Yeah.
How you would describe yourself as a person.
I think
What do you mean by that?
Not really. I mean, in some places, yeah. Like my school identity, that was a little weird. And then my work identity and like the difference between those two. But like me as a person, I pretty much know what my values are and like who I am.
Sometimes, yes. Like you lose yourself in the crowd. And you just don't know where you fit.
I think I know my identity, but I think it's hard for me to show others like who I am, and I like to stay like to myself and like yeah.
I'd say I have a little bit. I think everybody does at one point, but right now not so much as when I was younger.
I used to a lot. I had no idea who I was, like, at all. But this year, I think I've finally found myself. Yeah.
I guess this kind of contradicts what I said, but like, yeah, I think I do like who I'm supposed to be and like, yeah. Can you ask the question again?
Yeah.
Some days I'll just have those occasional days, I guess, where it's just like, what am I really doing here? Where I'm like really philosophical.
Yeah.
But then it's just like other days I couldn't care less.
Yeah. Because there's some things that happen and like I lose some friendships and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, like that makes me question if I'm like a good person or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Like you see other people doing their thing and then you're like, what is my thing?
I think so, but I think that's pretty normal.
At times, yes. I question, like, whether I want to be like that, you know, at the same time, too. Because I like the way I am, but I feel like sometimes it's a bit annoying who I am. And sometimes I want to fix that. I'm like, this is me, you know? So it's confusing at times.
Yeah, as a person, yes, definitely.
Yes. I guess my other answer was correct. Okay. Next question. I do. I feel like mostly just like how they talk. I think that's what I pick up the most. And like their energy is how I feel. Like if they're like in a bad mood, it makes me in a bad mood. But if they're in a good mood, it makes me in a good mood. So it can be a good and bad thing, I feel like.
Yes, quite often, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. Like whenever I hang out with other people like a lot, then like, you know, I'll see myself like, or I'll hear myself saying things that they say.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Majorly. I try so hard not to do that just because it's kind of weird. But I can't stop doing that. And it's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to stop doing that.
Are they sometimes like bad traits that maybe you're like, I probably shouldn't do that?
Yes. Like the bad people that used to be in my life, I used to act a lot like them. Like they were always negative, and so I was always negative in my thoughts, and my like the way I spoke. And I've learned to hang out around more positive people, and I think they influence me to be better.
Yeah.
Sometimes to fit in, because I know they think that's funny, and so I try to make my friends laugh by saying stuff that I don't think is funny, but they think it's funny, so yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like with your friends and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think I am because everyone else, they have like their future planned out. And even though I somewhat do, I feel like it's not enough. And like always in movies, like a senior in high school, they already know every step that they have and they always talk about it, but I just don't know that.
Yes, but I also think that could be due to, you know, increased social media and stuff and constantly seeing the highlights of what other people are doing and never seeing their struggles and stuff.
Yeah.
You're constantly force-fed people being successful, and you're never really seeing the reality of average people.
Not academically. Like, I think I'm doing pretty well, and I'm going to graduate, like, in a pretty good amount. Like, I think I'm doing good that way. But, like, a lot of people have everything figured out and, like, what they're going to do after school. And that way, yes, because I have no idea what I want to do at all.
Yes and no. Like, some of them have their lives planned out, and some of them are like me and just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Definitely future-wise. I have no idea what I want to do with my future. I know all my friends are like going to college. They know what, or at least have an idea of what they want to do with their lives. And I'm like, over here, just, I have no idea. I mean, it's scary to think about. I hate thinking of the future, you know, so I'm always behind in that. I like being in the moment.
I think, well, definitely Olivia, because she's honestly the first, like, real friend I've ever had. Like, if I think about it, she really is, like, the first friend. I cry about it a lot, but, like, not in a bad way, in a good way. But then the other thing is, like, having a twin. I think she really shaped who I am, and that, too. Yeah.
Oh, probably my parents getting divorced, because, I mean, shoot, if that didn't happen, I probably would have been very different.
Yeah.
I'm a very busy person because of it, and I'm used to managing a very busy schedule, and I think that helps out a lot.
Is it kind of to like occupy your brain a little bit? Yeah.
And, you know, I think, you know, whenever I become an adult, having done stuff like that for 12 years already, it'd be really handy.
I would say I have kind of two of them. Like, my grandpa died in 2014, and that was like this is what, like, it made me really sad. And then in middle school, I lost, like, my best friend that I had for, like, my entire life, and that kind of, like, changed who I was completely.
Yeah.
And I really analyzed who I was and changed a lot of things because I didn't like who I had become.
How did you kind of change? Was it like a change in how you loved people, appreciated people, or?
Yeah, it was probably like I didn't let people step on me as much, and I chose myself over being friends with somebody who didn't appreciate me. So it made me want to show my appreciation to people through, like, compliments and, like, gift giving and stuff like that. So I'm I'm a lot more appreciative with my friends to, like, let them know that I appreciate that they're actually liking me.
Yeah. Let me think about which direction I want to go with that.
Just going to different schools whenever I was younger and realizing that some people treat you differently. Slightly getting bullied.
Being bullied?
Yeah. I think we all remember Bucktooth. Yeah. Physical appearances do matter whenever you were younger.
And you feel like that's kind of like affected your self-esteem today a little bit?
Yeah.
Probably the one that I go back to is I was raised by a single mom, and so that kind of shaped me. My grandma was in my life, still is all the time, and so being raised by two single women who are smart and strong and independent, it's kind of shaped the way I think about things.
Yeah.
Good or bad. But it's probably the biggest.
Oh, definitely my friends. Like Annabelle, oh my goodness. She has shaped me to be so much better. I used to hang out with very, like, just not very good friends, you know, not supportive of me, didn't really influence me to be better. And when I found her, dude, she just, she filled something in my heart that just, I don't know. She makes me so happy, and I love being around her. And she's my bestest friend, you know. I can't imagine being friends with anybody else. And I just know I take her for granted a lot. And I need to stop doing that.
Probably my grandma dying. That really changed me as a person and gave me a different outlook on my life.
Like what?
I always thought she would live forever, and then she died like my freshman year. And it really took a toll on me. And I told her I'd do all these things, and when I started looking at it, I was like, man, I'm not really doing these things like the way I told her I would. So then I just started like I don't know, like I started doing more things for her, and it like on the football field, like, and I did more for her.
Probably just farming. Like that's who what all my friends do. That's everything.
Yeah.
That's like our life.
Oh yeah, I think everybody's always going to be changing.
Yes, literally so much, and I hope in college that'll like help me change, like not to make me a better person. I think.
Yeah, I'd say so, because I'm not perfect.
Absolutely. I think especially right now and for our age group, it's very transitional time. Whether that's college or just leaving high school or anything else, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to change a lot of stuff about me. I have a lot of flaws that I still would like to fix, and some things that I don't want to fix just because I like me. But yeah.
We're changing? Definitely. I'm a little bit too immature right now, and if I want to find a wife, I'm gonna have to do some more maturing. And I'm not that good of a friend yet. I feel like I could be a better friend to my friends, if that makes sense.
That's really sweet.
I think I don't really talk about it much, but like I do have OCD, and I'm better. Like I've stopped really dealing with it. Like I would say like sophomore year, it kind of went down. But before that, I know a lot of people don't understand it, and then when people like make jokes about it, I have to like tell myself not to get mad about it. So I would say that.
I mean, I think I was raised like pretty average. Like I'm pretty well off. Like my parents have really good jobs, and I think that in that way I was really lucky. I do have a lot of anxiety issues, but I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people struggle with. So it's like I get anxiety with doing small type things, like anything. Like to get my job, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. But then I was fine, and I do it every day without even caring. So yeah, I think I just have to. It takes me a little longer to get to a point where I'm okay doing certain things.
I think everybody's upbringing, nobody is the same, but I think mine is pretty different than just like my close circle, so I can compare it to that because I know them a little bit better. But being raised by a single parent, not being from where I went to high school, kind of being a transplant, and that does change things. I do struggle with issues of mental health, but nothing that truly inhibits me from living, so I'm grateful for that. I can expand more on that if you want, but I forgot the rest of the question.
I was raised in a very nice home. I'm so thankful to have good parents in my life, who love and support me with everything I do. I've always cherished my parents, but growing up, I did have a lot of hard times just because of my older siblings. They were never really part of my life, They just weren't there, and I wish I had that. And so now that I have younger siblings, I want to be there for them, and so I think that's all like really helped me, honestly, even though I didn't have that good of a relationship with my siblings. It makes me want to be better.
Yeah, I think I I think it honestly really hones into how you're raised, how your family operates, who you call your family, what family means. I think that's one of the biggest parts to how you choose to think about things and look at things and conduct yourself, especially as you're getting older and deciding, do I want to go to college? Do I want a career in this field? Or it's a very transitional time, and you kind of just revert back to, well, when I was younger, my mom could do all of this, so obviously I can. So I think that's a major part.
Well, I'd say I'm more fortunate. My parents worked very hard. My dad was in the military for a long time, and so that definitely shaped me as a person, being a military kid, moving all the time. So I learned how to pick up with different people. I would say I'm a very cultural person. I'm very fortunate I've lived so many places and done so many things. So I would say I'm very fortunate.
No, I mean, we're all about the same, but like what I do day-to-day basis may be different than what everybody else does day-to-day basis.
You work pretty hard
Yeah,
compared to other kids.
probably, yeah.
What does that mean?
I literally would not believe you. Like, I am not done being who I am. I feel like I'm not like, not good enough, but I feel like I'm not good enough sometimes. And I just feel like I just need to grow more and become a better person.
Yeah.
And just become more me.
Well, right now, in this moment, if I told you that you are exactly who you need to be, whether there's going to be changing later or not, how does that make you feel?
I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it couldn't be true. And like, I'm just, because I make a lot of mistakes, I feel like, and it's just not true, I feel like. Yeah.
It's pretty wholesome.
That's really reassuring, and I appreciate it. See, I tell everybody that I appreciate everything all the time now.
I would say thank you.
I don't know, making me feel pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that feels weird. I don't think I would believe it. Yeah, just because I'm not a good worker, you know. I don't think I'm that good of a friend, you know, to be honest. Not as good as I should be. And so, I don't know. I think it's hard to believe.
Yeah. All you can think about is like all these things that need to change.
Yes.
I think that there's truth in that. But personally, I have my own mental blocks that are where I'm very comparative to where I think I should be. Even though I can look and see exactly what I'm doing is gonna put me here and then here next and everything, it's still, I know I have more potential. Just waiting for that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I don't want to just leave you hanging with even more confusion after listening to these interviews. I figured it might help you guys out a little bit by getting some advice from adults. So I picked some adults to interview that really make an impact on kids, and I feel like they had some pretty good things to say.
Do you have the ability to cut it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
because you know I might get tickled. Okay.
Take.
The first question.
Are you recording me?
Yes, I'm recording this video.
I think everybody struggles with their identity, because if you've got it figured out by then what else is there for the rest of your life? But I think my identity was wrapped up in what I did, not who I was. And so my internal identity definitely was a struggle trying to figure that out. But I wrapped mine up in being an athlete. And so, but that's not who I am.
Yes, I did. Early on in high school, I was kind of introverted. I had friends, but I really wasn't very outgoing. I tried to make everybody happy and just kind of conform to what everybody else was doing, and I just was not a very happy person. My junior year, I had an accident in wrestling where I broke my back, and laying on a spine board in the hospital, I kind of decided that if everything worked out, I was going to change. And I did, and much more outgoing, had a lot more fun my senior year. Would wear the wigs and at basketball games, and just enjoyed myself and stopped caring what other people thought. Became my own person.
No, not at all. I pretty much knew my identity. It wasn't a big deal. I was an athlete, never had a problem with it, no.
Never. I learned very quick who I was, and learned early on never to let somebody else's opinion of me determine how I felt that day. You know, I was not going to let anybody say, you know, nobody was going to determine how I felt that day. So if they didn't like me, who cares? Had plenty of people that did. And that's what I try to get across to all these people. You're not, you cannot live your life trying to please other people. Something I would tell my younger self. Let's come back to that one.
That you don't have to have it all figured out. That it is a journey, that it is a process that you go through, and to relax a little bit. You don't have to be perfect. Mistakes make you who you are. You just got to make sure that when you make a mistake, that you can figure out and not make it again and again and again.
My younger self, pay a little bit more attention and do better in high school. I mean, focus on my grades. I mean, like I said, I was an athlete, and that was why I was there. But I wish I would have put forth a little bit more effort on my grades in high school. I didn't really get into grades until I got into college. So that's what I would tell my younger self, hey, tighten up.
I would probably say that time heals everything. Because there would have been some issues or things that happened in high school that you think is gonna, things you do that, yes, it affects your entire life, but the problems that you have in high school, they don't last. I mean, if it's a problem with a girlfriend or problem with parents or anything like that, time heals a lot of things. And if you keep that positive attitude, if you, always looking towards tomorrow, learning to love all those little everyday things, I wish I would have figured that out sooner. I guess I would probably tell my younger self.
I wish I could tell myself at an early age to not care what other people think and do the things that I enjoyed and just be more outgoing. I think I missed out on a lot of friendships and relationships early on because I was kind of a recluse, where I was afraid of just being vulnerable and rejection. I guess I was afraid of rejection. So I didn't allow myself to get into those positions where I think I would have had some stronger relationships and friendships early on in my life.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. Of course, you're not always going to be happy with yourself, but find something that you're comfortable with and something that you want to do, and focus on that. I mean, find the best part of yourself, and then go, well, I'm gonna focus on being a better person, or I'm gonna focus on this aspect of my life, and focus on that. I mean, that helps a lot. I think a lot of times kids try to put too much pressure on themselves, and be yourself. I mean, find something you enjoy to do and focus on that.
It would be give yourself a break a little bit and relax. Just the number one thing is you don't have to be perfect. We put a lot of pressure, students put a lot of pressure on themselves to be perfect in everything that they do. And that's just not, you don't learn, you don't grow by winning games all the time. It's the losses that make you reevaluate. So I think failing is good.
Teens struggling with who they are, find what you enjoy, find other people that enjoy those kinds of things around you, and not to worry about what others think about you or their perception. Because when you get out of high school, or you may go to college, you may go to workforce, all of that stuff kind of changes. So to be yourself now, because later on in life, that's who's getting hired for the job. Those are the type of people when you go into college, or you're going to kind of find that group of people, and that's who you're going to be. So be that person. Why not be that person now and figure those things out early on, so that you're not trying to do that later on down the road and miss out on other things.
The same thing. That is one of the hardest things to figure out, is to not let other people determine the type of day you're going to have. The time that you're in high school and the friends that you have in high school, the people that you're around with in high school, when you graduate, they're gone. You're not going to see them. Very few of them will you see after you graduate. You've got to figure out those little things of not letting people, deter you from who you really are. What you figured out in high school, I mean, that, even though it might not benefit you right then, you have already figured that out by the time you get out of high school. This is who I am. If you don't like it, tough. Does that answer it?
Mm-hmm.
Lord, no. Absolutely. I'm not sure that I do at whatever age I am right now. I'm not going to say what that is, but I don't think that we ever get to that point. I hope I don't ever get to that point. I hope I'm growing and learning and becoming a better person. If I had any advice whatsoever, I would just say, make sure you love people, because that's really what life is all about. If that, and it will make life worth it.
I did not have, I still don't have things figured out. I think that is kind of an open-ended question to where you're always trying to figure things out. You know, as a parent now, I'm learning new stuff and figuring out what I'm doing wrong with my older child and fixing it with a younger child, you know, and then have a parent. So having things all figured out, I think people think they have them figured out. I think I thought I had it figured out. My dad told me when I was young that there will come a day that overnight he would become a lot smarter. And what he meant by that was I thought I knew everything and he was dumb and didn't know anything. And then when I grew up a little bit, I would realize that he knew a lot more and I thought I knew it and I didn't know it. And so he became smarter overnight just because I figured out that he was right on a lot of things. And I try to tell people that because you don't always have things figured out. People that have been there, done that, sit down and listen and take some of that advice every once in a while and don't be so bullheaded and hard-headed sometimes. So.
I don't have it figured out now. Don't have it at all figured out now. You roll with the punches. I tell my kids all the time, you learn to love all the little everyday things. And when you can have that attitude of just not focus on all the big things, but if you can, like I found a basswood the other day. And that is we found a basswood the other day, a basswood tree, something you don't see very often around here. And that's a little thing. It's nothing to anybody else, and it's a little thing, but it's like that made our entire day. It's like, man, that's really going to help us. And if you can focus on all those little things and loving all them little things, life is a lot easier and a lot nicer when you learn to love all the little everyday things.
Oh, absolutely not. No, but I will say this. I had a very positive role model in my life in high school, a coach and a teacher that I truly loved. And he pretty much set in progress what I was going to do. I wanted to be like him. So did I have it all? No, but I had a pretty good idea what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to teach and coach. And because of that one positive role model, that's what I wanted to do. But I had it all figured out? No, I don't think you ever figured out. No, not at all. But at 15, 16 years old, no, I didn't have a clue. No, I'm not sure I still do. So.
Yeah, I'm happy. You know, there's ups and downs with everybody's life. I've had my fair share of ups and downs, but you know, I've got a family that loves me. I got a job that I enjoy. I get to work and play and do things that I want to do. I get to be active. So yeah, I would say I'm a happy person.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I was told a long time by a mentor of mine, is if you find something you love to do, you never work a day in your life. And I mean, at this situation, at my stage in my life, I've been married for 28 years. My greatest accomplishment is her, my wife. So yes, I'm completely happy with everything, the way it's going. I'm close to retirement. So yeah, I right now I wouldn't change a thing, except focusing on my grades in high school. So no, I think everything's peachy. It's good.
Oh yeah. Am I 100%? I don't know if anybody can say that, but like in general, absolutely. Because I've had that attitude of learning to love all those little everyday things. I feel every time I go home, I feel like it's a vacation. I feel like I am on vacation every time I pull down my driveway because I enjoy, just, I don't know. I'm happy. Yes, I am 100% happy. No, not 100%. I already said not 100%. I am very happy, yes.
Good. Absolutely. But I think it's all been a process and a journey. If I were going to give any encapsulate, once I figured out who I wanted on my bus, which I talk about the energy bus because I love that book, but who I wanted on my bus, who did I need to kick off the bus, if they're not helping you grow and be a positive influence in your life, they don't get on my bus. So once I could figure out that, and knew who I was and who I wanted to be around me, then life was pretty dang good.
Why do you think you do this? It's like, hey, I don't want to record anymore.
Yeah, because they were like, her face ugly, I can't be doing this no more. Oh, shoot.
Okay, I know you're probably tired of hearing me talk, but before I go, I want to talk about what you can take from this video. Now, we know that your upbringing has a lot to do with how you develop and grow as a person, but that's really something you can't control. You need to realize that every kid is raised differently, and you are one of a kind. Because every teen is different, you can't expect to be at the same level as your peers, and every teen shouldn't feel behind. If there's one thing you can take from this video, I want it to be that you don't have to be what society tells you to be. You don't have to know what you want to do yet, and you don't have to be this perfect, pristine kid that makes all of the right choices. Because you are exactly who you need to be right now. If you are struggling right now, then you are meant to be struggling. If you are confused right now, then you're meant to be confused. There really shouldn't be any guidelines telling you when you're supposed to have things figured out, because even adults don't have everything figured out. Instead of focusing on things you can't control, focus on being a better friend, a better partner. Focus on loving you and giving yourself grace when things get hard. Those little things about your personality mean so much more than a future you can't foresee. Instead of being worried about what you don't know, find the excitement and the endless possibilities for your life. Instead of looking at the unknown as confusion, look at it as a mystery that is to be slowly uncovered as you live your life in the moment as much as you can. Surround yourself with people who truly have your best interest at heart, and get rid of the ones holding you back. Don't worry about what society expects of you and continue to learn what you don't know, not fear it. Just remember, you are one of a kind. You are an unfinished canvas that is already beautiful. Live your life the way it is intended right now, because you are exactly who you need to be right now.